What's up, everybody? Welcome to In Love with Horror. I'm AJ, and unfortunately, y'all, I am not going to be joined by my co-host, Christy. She's currently out of town, so it's just going to be me, at least discussing these stories. But she will be in the comments. I know that she will be, still helping with getting the comments on the screen and chatting with y'all in the live chat. But yeah, y'all, it was a decent news week. There was a lot of different topics. There wasn't anything that I would say is particularly massive, but there was a lot of good news that came out this week from announcements, confirmed release dates, you name it. There was some decent news. So we got a lot to cover overall. We got Mike in the chat saying, "Hey y'all, what's going on, Mike? Thanks for joining us in the live chat." And if you're watching this on the replay or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, thanks for tuning in at those places. And if you want to join us live, just as a reminder, we go live discussing all the horror news at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Sundays. So feel free to come tune in live so you can interact and be in the chat. Now, I don't have hey, look, I'm going to forewarn y'all. I don't have the chat pulled up in front of me. I'm looking at like another screen that's like where Christy's controlling the chat. So I'll try my best to be tuned in to both. Normally she helps manage that and chimes in. So I'm gonna try my best to handle it. So bear with me, y'all. Also I did want to mention too, at the end of this, we will talk about the Longlegs box office, because they just dropped the box office article. They talked about how much it made, and it looks like it did some record stuff. So tune into the very end where we'll talk about the box office for Longlegs, and I'll add in a little excerpt from the review that I did, because I did a review. I think it dropped either Thursday night or Friday morning. Go check out that review if you haven't seen it. I do ramble a little bit, I like to ramble, but it's still a good review. I spoke my mind a lot, and as always, kept it honest. But with that, y'all, let's go ahead and get into the news. Well, before we do that, we did want to take a moment to remember some actresses, because unfortunately, y'all, this week, we lost some performers, and one of them being a legendary performer, unfortunately. So I wanted to start or open this show with talking about the unfortunate passing of Shelley Duval. Of course, we in the horror space, know her for her, iconic performance in The Shining. But of course, she did a lot of other things, across the, 70s, 80s. I want to say, I don't know about 60s or not, but she did Popeye and other things like that. But of course, we know her the most for The Shining. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge, this incredible actress and her contribution to the film industry. And of course, she retired, fairly early from acting. It was I think 2002 or something like that, 'cause she wanted to focus on, her family and things like that. Then I think she came back and returned for a small, I think I was going to say horror indie project. I haven't seen the film. I think it was in 2023. Might have been called Forest Hill or something like that. But y'all, it was sad. It was sad to hear. She was 75 when she passed. I believe it mentioned in this article that her longtime partner Dan Gilroy mentioned that she suffered a lot from her illness. Of course, she was battling diabetes and things like that. And he mentioned at least she's at peace from the suffering. So whenever it comes to passing, you always got to try to look at the brighter side of things, and then celebrate their life as we mourn a little bit. But we lost a legendary actress in Shelley Duval. And unfortunately, I think the news broke this morning that we had lost another actress, and that was this morning, and that was Shannen Doherty. She was an actress on Beverly Hills, 90210, and Charmed, and she passed away at 53, which is young as hell. Super unfortunate here. She had a long battle with cancer, and unfortunately, she did lose that battle. Super sad. Another actress lost. And I did want to point out, because Christy mentioned it to me, that I know Christy, she's a big fan of Charmed, so I know she was especially hurt to hear the loss of Shannen Doherty. But 53 is way too young to leave this world. And fuck cancer, man. Cancer is just it's a beast, and I'm sure a lot of us have, either dealt with it personally or just had people in our lives who have had that battle. It's crazy to me that we still haven't found a way to beat this shit. But rest in peace to both Shelley Duval and Shannen Doherty. Their losses will definitely be felt across the industry. We got Mike in the chat saying, "Rest in peace to Shelley Duval and Shannen Doherty." Yeah, absolutely. Super sad news to wake up to this morning with Shannen, as well as just the news of Shelley Duval. But yeah, y'all, hey, celebrate their lives. Go back and look at their incredible contributions and work to the film and TV industry, and even revisit some things that you might not have watched before. I know I'll probably do that definitely with some of Shelley Duvall's other films that I definitely haven't seen before. But with that, y'all, we'll go ahead and jump into the news. I did want to take a moment just to talk about that, but we'll go ahead and switch gears and talk about the horror news that came out this week. So I want to start off with a franchise that I love, y'all, and that is the Conjuring franchise. So it's official. We officially got the release date for what they're calling the final mainline Conjuring film. And this is the one, I don't know if they kept the name, but I know before it was called like the Conjuring, The Last Rites. I don't think this article mentions if they kept that name or not. But the film is now dated for September 5th, 2025. Again, this is the fourth mainline Conjuring movie, and they are billing it as the finale to the main set of films. That to me reads that they'll probably still do a lot of the other spinoffs like The Nun, Annabelle. I don't doubt that they'll come back to those things. But this would be the last one for the main line. And I think it's about that time. It's been, a little over a decade now. I think we're at like 10 or 11 years. Pretty sure around 11 years. I think Conjuring was 2013. And I think the article mentions it somewhere. Yeah, The Conjuring was 2013. So we're a little over a decade now. So I think it's about time to put the main line to rest, y'all. But so check this out. And I think we already knew this, but I'm going to revisit it. We got Michael Chavez, who will be directing the last Conjuring film. Now, we got to note this, right? He did direct The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which a lot of people will say and argue that, and I agree, that it is the worst of the mainline Conjuring films. There's something about it that just didn't have the same magic as the first two films. It wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't at the same level as the first two films. We got Mike in the chat saying, "I'm excited for one last Conjuring. The director has me iffy, but I'm going to stay optimistic." Yep, I agree 100%. Now, to caveat that, though, I will say that, Michael Chavez did The Nun 2. I was a big fan of The Nun 2. I actually liked it a lot. And The Nun 2 is one of those films where it was shaky sometimes throughout the film, but the finale is so dope and epic that it kind of, bumped up some points for me. And if you've seen my Longlegs review, you'll know that, obviously no spoilers, but the ending fell a little bit flat for me and actually knocked some points off for me. Because an ending can definitely, make or break a film. And I think The Nun 2 is one of those films where the ending was pretty good. That shit has some almost like anime vibes to it, with how with how epic and just bombastic and spectacle-y that they went with that shit. But they also mentioned that the screenwriter for The Conjuring 4 will be David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick to pen the script. I'm excited for this, y'all. That's on September 5th, 2025 that we'll get this film. The article did note, and look at Christy in chat saying the ending wasn't all that. Yeah, for some reason she didn't like that ending, but she knows I love that ending. It was super dope. Now they did mention, New Line mentioned that this will bump the Maggie Gyllenhaal's Bride, which was the a different take on the Bride of Frankenstein's story. It's going to move up 1 week to September 26, 2025. And that's the film that stars Christian Bale as Frankenstein. So that will get bumped up. And I'm like, dang, New Line going to be, packing some heat when it comes to, getting into the spooky month or getting close to it next year. But I'm excited for this, y'all. I've always loved the Conjuring franchise as a whole. Even the weaker ones, I think, still have certain elements to them that are dope, that contribute to the overall lore and story as a whole. And just crazy to me that first Conjuring just spun up such a massive, universe of Conjuring films. And Mike said, "I'm a fan of the Conjuring universe, the good, the bad, and the ugly." Yeah, exactly. I agree. Like, that first Annabelle was a little rough. You got the Nun one, which is really rough. And I don't know if we speak about, the spinoff of the franchise, the Curse of La Llorona. That one was really rough. But technically, it is part of the Conjuring universe, so we gotta include that. But and then they had that one, the other Annabelle movie, Annabelle Comes Home. That was really rough too. I think Christy liked that one a little bit. Yeah, but I think that one was terrible too. So it's definitely had a decent amount of misses, but it's still a cool franchise. They've still done some dope things. I'm excited to see how they're gonna like complete the main line of the story. And I'm sure that Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, like I from what I've seen, I think they like these characters, but I'm sure they're ready to kind of put some closure to it and have like a really good send off. It makes me nervous that it will be like a send off, so I really hope that they bring it all the way home and maybe leave some tidbits and connective tissues to do other things in the future outside of the main line. But y'all let me know down in the comments, what are y'all thinking about The Conjuring 4? Are you excited for it next year? We got that firm release date of September 5th. What do you think, or what would you like to see them do with this being the finale of the main set of films? Do you think anyone will, because they've kind of gone away from following too closely at this point. Well, Devil Made Me Do It, I feel like kind of played into like a real situation or case. I kind of wonder if they're going to actually use a real case again for the fourth film, or just kind of create something entirely new to wrap up the film series, if you get what I'm trying to say. But you let me know in the comments down below, what are you thinking for The Conjuring 4, and how do you think they're going to do this finale? And I did want to mention that Spotify has comments now. So if you are a Spotify listener of our new show, they have comments on there now. So you can drop your comments on Spotify now too. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the next news story for this week that we wanted to cover. And this one was all about that Possession remake that we talked about. It was either on the last show or the one before that one. We had heard about these talks of Parker Finn and Robert Pattinson working together to do a remake of the classic horror sci-fi weird movie Possession. I think it came out in 1980. Oh yeah, it's right there, 1981. Psychological, supernatural, twisted horror movie. Very interesting movie if you've never seen it. But they're doing a remake of it, and we got the final. I phrase it like this: Paramount is in the final talks to secure the deal for getting this movie under their umbrella. Now, of course, Parker Finn, right? He's the one that does the Smile franchise, and he does that for Paramount. Smile 1 and Smile 2 are under Paramount, and they kept Parker Finn on to do those two. And it looks like they're trying to, keep Parker Finn on board and in their wheelhouse. The article, because this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter, it mentions that they've already like watched Smile 2. They've done some test screenings, and they were so big on it and Parker Finn's capabilities that they're like, hey, he want to do Possession remake. He got to do it over here because we think that just his track record is proving him as a capable horror writer and director. But yeah, y'all. So they are going to close the deal with Pattinson and Finn to put the Possession remake under the Paramount banner. And of course, Parker Finn will be writing that script. And from what the article makes it seem like, they aren't. The script hasn't even been written yet. So I guess this is just a pitched idea that they put out there, and there was enough meat on that bone, you know what I'm saying, to get people going crazy for this. And Paramount was scrambling to get it. The article mentioned that I think some of the other players in this that were trying to bid on it were Warner Brothers, Sony. They were also trying in the fight to try to get this under their umbrella. So it lets you know that this is something special. They also mentioned that Vertigo Entertainment's Roy Lee, who helped produce Zach Cregger's breakout Barbarian, will also produce. So they'll have some good producers behind it as well, because Barbarian was a dope film, and it was kind of under that weird umbrella as well in terms of the vibes and just the overall strangeness comparing it to Possession. But this is interesting, y'all. Hopefully this will be a remake that is, you know, that is well received and paid respect to. But I would like to see them try to come up and modernize it, come up with something unique, modernize it. But hopefully this is one that we can go back and talk about as one of the better horror remakes. We always like to talk about horror remakes and which ones are good and which ones are bad. We got Mike in the chat who said, I think The Possession works more because it was a deep cut cult classic, gained notoriety by word of mouth. Wonder how it being mainstream will work. That's a good point, because I'm sure a lot of the mainstream audience has never seen Possession, maybe never even heard of it. And it is, like, let's keep it real, it is a very weird film. They do a lot of interesting things in that movie, and sometimes it's hard to like digest and really like connect to it because of like just how wild they get with it and how intense some of the moments are when it comes to the emotional crazy moments. So I'm curious to see now that this remake will come out and it will be mainstream. When people go revisit the previous one, what will they say? And that does, and you saying that, Mike, makes me wonder too. Will they keep a lot of the same extremes in the remake? Because I feel like typically when the Western creators, Hollywood makes like remakes of things, they dial back some of the more extreme moments in the film. So I do wonder if they're going to like bring it back a little bit, or does Parker Finn plan to take it all the way with the craziness that's within Possession. Hopefully they do it. It also makes me wonder, like, and man, I cannot remember the actress name that did that incredible performance in the Tunnel Way. Also, I do wonder if who they're going to put in that role, and are they going to try to, how they're going to tackle that scene, because that scene's insane to watch. And I do wonder how they're going to handle that scene. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Christy in the chat said, if the first Omen almost got NC-17 rating, I doubt they go full on. That's true. That's a good point. But I do feel like the first Omen got that NC-17 rating because, they were depicting, birth essentially, but almost like in a full-on kind of way. And the actress name Christy put in the chat was Isabel Adjani. Yeah, that performance, especially during that section in the tunnel, damn, that shit was crazy. So I wonder how they're gonna tackle that. We saw in the first Omen, and I can't recall that actress name either. I think it's like Tiger Free or something like that. Let me look up that actress name because I don't want to get it wrong. But she had a moment similar. Nell Tiger Free. She had a moment similar in the first Omen, where the scene was very similar to the scene in Possession with Isabel. And even that scene was like very uncomfortable to watch. It was like got under our skin. Will they go to would they go to those levels? Will they keep the weird alien stuff? I want all of that. I would like for them to even take it further than that with this remake. But y'all let me know in the comments, what are y'all thinking about this Possession remake? Do you think it should be remake period? Do you think the remake has like something to offer with it being modernized for today's time? Let me know your thoughts, and what do you think they'll do for this Possession remake in the comments, y'all. All right, let's jump to the next story I wanted to cover, and this is about a dope franchise that I like. That's had hit or misses, but I think overall I've always enjoyed watching these, and that is the VHS franchise, y'all. So this story we pulled from Variety, and it's all about the next VHS entry in the franchise called VHS Beyond. So the article mentions that VHS Beyond is set to feature segments from Kate Siegel, along with Mike Flanagan, of course. They're married, and then Justin Long and more. So again, this is Shudder runs this franchise, so of course it's being touted as a Shudder original. But the film has been dated for October 4th of this year, so we don't have to wait too long before we get the next one. But let me read you an excerpt of what VHS Beyond as a package is being touted as. So it says, And before I jump into that, Christy said in the chat, the last one didn't hit for me. Hopefully this one is better. Yeah, VHS, I believe it was 85. I think it had good moments in it, but I think I didn't like the overall like main arc storyline that they were revisiting throughout. But I think there was a couple of ones that I really did like the Scott Derrickson one. I did really like. Let's see. Mike in the chat says, I'm so pumped. I love the direction the series has gone. 94 is my favorite. I gotta look up 94 because I swear I don't. Y'all know I don't be remembering stuff super good. I gotta like look stuff up to jog my memory, but I gotta look up which ones were in 94. But I do feel like the series has not hit the same heights as VHS 1 and VHS 2. I think VHS 2 is still my favorite in the whole franchise. But going back to VHS Beyond, the new entry, it says that this film will feature 6 new blood-curdling tapes, placing horror at the forefront of a sci-fi inspired hellscape. So it kind of seems like we're going to get, it's going to, I don't know if this means all the shorts will cater to a sci-fi horror style, or if it's just like the main arc that'll be in this film. But that's super dope. I love my sci-fi horror. And the article goes on to mention like some of these segments, the segment names, and who will be working on those. So I'll read some of those to y'all now. So we got Kate Siegel, who will be making her directorial debut with a short titled Stowaway, which is written by her frequent collaborator and husband, Mike Flanagan. Now that's super dope for them to, team up on this. Of course, Mike Flanagan is a horror goat currently who's going to be working on trying to bring back the Exorcist franchise into the good graces. But he's wrote something called Stowaway, and Kate Siegel will be making her directorial debut. I'm excited for this. I feel like she's obviously worked a lot with her husband on a lot of different projects. So I feel like she probably has a lot of insight into directing. And I'm sure, Mike will, offer, input and guidance along the way. So I'm excited for this. I think it'll be interesting. I don't know what stowaway means. I feel like it could be like some alien hiding out on a spaceship or something like that. Could be interesting. There was a recent Mr. Ballin story that I watched. It was about like a blimp that like took off, and there was only 2 people, but then someone saw there's 3 people on there. Like maybe there's a stowaway on there, alien or something like that. I don't know, but sounds interesting. Just by the way of the fact that Mike Flanagan's gonna be writing this thing. And then the next segment we got that they mentioned was the segment titled Fur Babies. That was going to be written and directed by brothers Justin and Christian Long. Now, I wasn't familiar with Justin's brother. I don't know if Christian has worked on anything or not. Maybe y'all can let me know. But they'll be working on a segment called Fur Babies. I don't know what that means, and I do wonder if it's going to be some weird alien thing. Mike mentioned in the chat, could you imagine if she becomes a GOAT director too, the power they would have? Yeah, if Kate Siegel becomes a GOAT director, man, like that is going to be a horror powerhouse couple. I mean, at that point, these studios will probably give them whatever they want. They'll come ask Mike and Kate, what do y'all want to make? We're going to fund the whole shit and give you all the money in the world. We got Jay Lane in the chat who said, I've never seen any of the VHS films, but I'll definitely check out that segment for sure. Hey, look, the VHS, the films have a lot to offer. What's cool about them is, of course, and I'm sure you've heard about the series, but they're all anthology movies. So the cool thing I like about anthology movies is there always tends to be at least 1 or 2 shorts that you'll definitely like. Now, sure, you got to sit through the ones that you don't like, but once you get to that one that you really like, you're like, damn, like this almost made the whole thing worth it. One of my favorite segments was from VHS 2, which was the cult one. That is honestly probably one of my favorite shorts of all time. That is it's an incredible experience. I love the way that they did that story. But check out the VHS films. Go all the way back. Start with VH1. Start going through them, and I'm sure that you'll find things that you like with those films. Mike said in the chat, damn, I just Googled Christian Long and his title is actor and Justin's long brother. Dang. It said the title on either on Google or whatever said that Christian Long is an actor and also Justin Long's brother. I mean, that's just the way it is. Once you have a relative, who is of heightened popularity, like you get known as the whatever to that person, the son, the daughter, the brother, sister, the mom, the dad. But it's all good. They try to give you that reference point. Jumping into the next, or moving to the next segment that they mentioned was a segment by Justin Martinez called Live and Let Dive. Of course, Justin Martinez segment, October 31st, 1998, made alongside his Radio Silence Collective, was the final segment in the first VHS film. That was a dope, little found footage segment from that first VHS movie. The next segment they talked about was a segment called Dream Girl, directed by Virat Pal, written by Pal and Evan Dixon. Not familiar with them. I would have to look up their work, because maybe I've seen something, I just don't recognize the name. But that segment's called Dream Girl. Then the next segment we got is called Stork, being directed by Jordan Downey, screenplay by Downey and Kevin Stewart. And then lastly, they mentioned that there will be a special presentation by Jay Chill. So that's everything that they mentioned for VHS Beyond. I'm excited for this. Even when the VHS movies don't always hit, I'm still excited for the potential of the next one, because it gives people the opportunity to be creative and make just interesting, different, original ideas in these shorts. And sometimes they can either turn into features or just give maybe a lesser known directing and writer team the chance to make something dope and then go on to do something bigger. But VHS Beyond, I am very excited about. Again, that's coming out October 4th. Y'all let me know in the comments, what is your favorite VHS film? I know Mike in our live chat right now, I mentioned VHS, 94? And mine is VHS 2. So y'all let me know, what is your favorite VHS movie? I gotta look it up, because they've had quite a bit. And I think I'm gonna go in the article real quick. Yeah, this is the 7th installment. Dang. Mike in the chat said Jordan Downey loves birds. LOL. Thinks Killing in the sequel. Now Stork. Okay, I wasn't familiar with Jordan Downey, but so Killer Birds sounds like that's right up their alley. Right, y'all. Let me go ahead and jump into the next story here, and this one is another exciting story, y'all. This one is about that new project that's coming from the Terrifier creators. And that is the project called Stream. So we officially got the trailer for this, and this is coming to Variety, and the title reads, Stream Trailer. Gory slasher from Terrifier team stars horror icons David Howard Thornton, Jeffrey Combs, Danielle Harris, and Tony Todd, y'all. I did check out this trailer. We did not do a reaction to this one. We just went and watched. I just watched it on my own. But I'm excited for this, y'all. Of course, we got Damien Leone, too, who is the director and creator of the Terrifier franchise. He's going to be assisting in doing the special effects. This right here, y'all, if you've seen the trailer, you know it's going to be a good time, which is, I feel like, this team's main point when it comes to making horror is it's all about having a great time. Now, this film Stream is headed to theaters next month, y'all, in August. I can't recall the exact date. I think it's like August 9th, I want to say. Might be wrong on that. I got to double check. But the film is written, directed, and produced by Michael Levy. The film follows a family trying to survive after their hotel is overtaken by murderers who are competing to be the most creative killer. And like I said, the film stars David Howard Thornton, who of course plays Art the Clown in Terrifier films, as well as horror heavyweights like Jeffrey Combs, might know him from Reanimator, Danielle Harris from Halloween 4, and Tony Todd, of course, the GOAT, the legendary Tony Todd, of course, from Candyman. This is probably his most well-known role. And like I said before, Terrifier series director Damien Leone handles the practical gore special effects. And just some quotes from Levy that I want to mention within the article. Levy was quoted saying, quote, "We have no studio backing, so to put this release in the hands of our fans is something that truly excites us. They came out in droves for Terrifier 2, and that was so important for its success. So hopefully they will do it again for Stream. This way we can show the studios why indie horror is so important for the genre and paving the way for creating new, fresh, and original content that we all crave so much nowadays." So that came from Michael Levy the film's writer and director and producer. I'm excited for this, y'all. I thought the trailer was dope. I can tell that the kills are going to be super over the top, and I like the premise. The premise supports the opportunity to just go wild and just do crazy ass kills. And they mentioned in the article too, this is a movie that this is a movie made by horror fans for horror fans. So it's going to be a good time, and it's cool to have so many different, legendary horror, performers participating in this. It's going to be a dope ride, y'all. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually surprised it's getting a theatrical release, because I really thought this was going to be a direct to streaming thing, like on a Shudder or something like that. So I'm glad it's getting the opportunity to, go in the theaters and gain some support. And just watching something like this in the theater is gonna be a lot of fun too, with an audience who can, react and have a good time with it. I feel like horror movies are always a lot more fun when you have a big audience who is reacting to everything on screen just like you are, whether they're scared or cheering, whatever the case may be. I'm excited for this one. It actually looks really dope. And I think the kills, man, just based off that trailer, the kills is gonna be over the top. And I like seeing Jeffrey Combs in the the control room, almost being like the architect, for this like horror game. And I like the idea of them trying to, maneuver through the hotel, trying to avoid, being caught up in the horror game as they're going around and taking motherfuckers out. But you can tell it's by horror fans too, or for horror fans, because there's a lot of there's a lot of sex related stuff in there too. It looks like there'll be some people getting taken out while they having sex. So definitely an ode to the 80s type of horror. I think this is going to be a good time. But y'all let me know in the comments, how are you feeling about the film Stream? Did you watch the trailer? Did it get you, excited to see this film? Or are you just going to watch it because of the people involved, especially with the special effects and whatnot? Let me know how are y'all feeling about Stream, and if you're going to go check it out in August. And it's releasing on August 21st, by the way. August 21st is when Stream will be in theater. So I'm excited for that one. Y'all let me know how y'all are feeling about it. Okay, so let's jump into another franchise that's building a lot of entries, and this is going to be their 5th installment. And this is all about Hell House, y'all. So Hell House LLC has another installment, its 5th one, coming to Shudder in 2025. And I believe it's going to be October 2025 next year when that comes out. So we did get like a teaser. And the film is called Hell House LLC Lineage. And let me just read. Hold on 1 second here. Make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Okay. So just talking about the Lineage film, it's the 5th installment in the franchise, and it's going to go into production in November of this year. And they mentioned about Lineage, and look, we got Mike in the chat saying Hell House, hell yes. Yeah. Chrissy and I are big fans of the Hell House LLC franchise. We actually thought the Carmichael Manor joint was actually really dope. But they mentioned, or they spoke about Hell House LLC Lineage, and they said it will continue a deeper dive into the backstories of various characters within the franchise while introducing new characters and storylines. And like I said, Chrissy and I are big fans of the Hell House LLC series, or series of films. Chrissy is stupid hyped for this. She helps write the notes when we do this live show, and she even put at the bottom of this, "I'm hyped for this." So she's really excited. This will be the 5th installment. That teaser was really dope. Of course, because it hasn't really gone into production yet, it didn't really offer like anything specific, but we did get this dope image here that I'm showing on the screen of that one, iconic clown in the film with the polka dot striped and, bloody eyes costume, standing in like a cornfield. So I'm excited for this one, y'all. It's Hell House. I like the direction they're going with the lore. I like how they're building on top of the lore. And I hope they continue to find ways to, get deeper into the lore and make it interesting. I don't know how far they can take this franchise with it being the 5th one. I don't know if they can just keep going with this shit. I'm cool with it because all the films have been very effective, and to me, they've all worked. They've been creepy. And the way they always do this like documentary style, I'm always a big fan of that because I love found footage, and they feel like their documentary style works because it's a combination of like the documentary and the found footage, and it doesn't really lean too much into that like interview documentary style. So Mike in the chat said, "Hot take: this clown is creepier than art." I agree. I actually agree with that. If they were both standing like in a dark corner at the same time, like looking at me, and I'm like on the street or something like that, I feel like this clown from Hell House LLC would actually be way more creepier. Because there's something about that. There's something about the blank expression of this mask that just makes it way more creepy. Because you can't really tell the intent of the look. You know what I'm trying to say? It just feel like it's just this blank expression that's staring into your soul. You know, art's more animated. You know what I mean? So like, he's more goofy and animated, and he's just like, he's destructive. He's chaos. But yeah, this clown, I agree with that. This clown is creepier. But yeah, y'all. Hey, look, October 2025. Hey, look, 2025 right now. Just based off these couple stories I mentioned in this news one with the Conjuring and this one, from September to October, we're gonna get some dope ass content horror wise for next year. I'm sure we'll get more announcements as the year goes along, and then the year opening with Lee Wannell's the Wolfman film. 2025 shaping up. It's gonna be another great year for horror. I feel like 2024 is doing pretty good for horror already. So I'm excited to see what next year is going to offer with films like Hell House LLC Lineage. Y'all let me know in the comments, how did you feel about this teaser trailer? Again, there wasn't much to it, but did that image creep you out of old boy standing in the cornfield? Let me know also what's your favorite Hell House LLC film as well. And then let me know what you think they could do with Lineage. You know, they were talking about, you know, the backstories of certain characters from the franchise. So you let me know, who do you think they're going to explore, and what do you think the story will offer for this new film Lineage. Again, the fifth installment. Damn. All right, let's jump into the world of horror video games real quick, y'all. And this one is kind of an interesting one. And this one, there really isn't much to say about it, but we had to bring it up. And just real quick in the chat, Critic After Dark also mentioned that that clown in Hell House LLC is definitely one of the creepiest clowns of all time. So yeah, we're getting just validation from people across the chat, y'all, that clown is creepy as hell, and I agree. That blank expression, I think that would just get me every time. But jumping to our next story, this is kind of interesting, and I'm even surprised that that Nintendo of all people is doing this. But Nintendo dropped this mystery teaser on their social channels. I think it was on YouTube for something called Emio. It was a super short teaser trailer of this person on the screen, and I have it up. And if you're just listening on the audio, it's a person standing there with this bag on their head that's got like a drawn on smiley face. And it was just a cryptic teaser like that was just dropped on their YouTube, and it features some Japanese text on the video as well. And that text reads, or the title reads, "The Smiling Man," and that's it. There was no other information. They put out like a teaser website, which was literally just, you know, this dude standing there and being kind of like all glitchy and like, you know, warpy and almost like VHS like. But there was no other information, no other info like what kind of game this is, who's making it. Nothing. It was just a weird, cryptic, mysterious teaser trailer drop. And what I think this is dope, but I'm actually surprised that it's Nintendo doing this, just because Nintendo, I feel like, especially as of the last decade with the Switch, they've focused heavily on more family friendly content, and I feel like this is this horror aspect does not feel family friendly. It feels more creepy. But I just wanted to touch on it, y'all, because I thought it was interesting, and we'll keep our eye on it to see like what this whole Emio thing is, what kind of game it will be. I'm hoping that it'll end up being something like worthwhile, and like, because there's nothing that sucks more than like, they hype something like this up with a cool, cryptic, mysterious teaser, and then it comes out and it's just something that's either not what you're expecting at all, don't got nothing to do with it, whatever the case may be. But hopefully this will be an exciting project. Y'all let me know in the chats or in the comments or whatever if y'all heard any rumors or anything about this project or who might be working on it. Like, I honestly have no clue. Is it like coming from Fatal Frame people? I really don't know. But the the vibe of the little teaser image and the teaser trailer was very creepy. So I'm very much interested to see what this ends up developing into, and trust and believe that once we get more info, that we here on In Love with Horror will let y'all know. But you let me know what you're thinking this could be, or if you've heard any rumors. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and go to the next story I want to talk about. And this is about a new project as well. And I think the people behind it is what makes this story interesting. So let's jump to the next story that we're pulling from Deadline. And this story reads, Troy Kotsur to lead cast of Johannes Roberts' horror feature Primate from Walter Hamada. Now, the project falls under Hamada's exclusive first look deal with Paramount, which began back in January of 2023. And it's made him the architect, and this is quoted in the article, the architect of Paramount's mainstream horror genre pod, with the mission to release several low to mid-budget films per year across theatrical and streaming. Paramount Pictures has greenlit this new Johannes Roberts horror film that's being called Primate. Now, why this is kind of interesting, right, is because Roberts historically hasn't had the best films. So Roberts' works include 47 Meters Down, Strangers Pray at Night, and Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City for Sony Pictures. Now, I don't know about y'all. I don't think I've seen the 47 Meters Down one. Let me see if I can pull that one up, because I can't remember that one as good. Because if it's what I'm thinking it is, that's a rough one. But okay, it's the first one, because there was another one, that 47 Meters Down Uncaged. I feel like that was the better one. I don't know if he did both of those, but I know that Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, that was super rough. Strangers Pray at Night, that was really bad. So Mike said in the chat, 47 Meters Down was good. See, I can't remember. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick too, because there's two different ones, and I feel like there was one that was better than the other, and I don't remember which one that was, because I haven't seen them in a while. Mike or anyone else in the chat, I don't know if y'all know which 47 meters is considered to be the better of the two. Yeah, I know. I just pulled up the 47 meters one because I was trying to remember this one. I can't remember if this is the one where they got lost. They just got stuck in the cage at the bottom. Mike in the chat said, Strangers Pray at Night wasn't for me, but lots of people have been going up for it. Really? People have been going up for Strangers Pray at Night like that? I'm actually very surprised. And I wonder if that's with the resurgence of the Strangers in general, or if they've always been hyped for Pray at Night. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm surprised that people are going hard for it. Maybe it's because the people that are involved or the performers within it. But either way, I do feel like, I don't know, man, that with the dude's track record, it does make me a little bit nervous. But I don't think going back to the Primate film, I don't think that they actually gave out any information on what Primate is. They're keeping the story under wraps. So I can't even really speak to the premise of it to see, if the concept will even give us some hope of, at least it's a dope concept. But they're keeping it under wraps right now. I don't know if that's good, as in it's a very original concept, or they just don't have all the details yet. But I just wanted to point that out. And the biggest thing too, and I said it earlier, was like this. They're saying that this guy's like the architect of the low to mid budget horror films. And so that makes me think that this Primate is kind of in that category, and I feel like that can go good and bad, because you can make some dope low budget horror films, but you can also make some really bad ones as well. So I'm curious to see what y'all think of where or which direction this one will go. Will it end up being one of the like cannon fodder ones, one of the throwaway ones, or will this Primate actually end up being good? Again, there's no information about what the film is, so I can't really speak to that, but just know that that a new project from Johannes Roberts is coming. If you are a big fan of the work, because maybe you are, like Mike said in the chat, people are really big fans of Pray at Night. I don't know if people like to walk in Raccoon City or not. And 47 Meters Down, I can't remember that one that good. Mike in chat said it was good. So maybe that is a more decent film. We got Nikki in the chat who said, I liked both 47 Meters Down. I hated Pray at Night, but I liked it visually. He might be able to do something interesting. I won't count him out yet. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Okay. So yeah, people are kind of rocking for 47 Meters Down. I can't really remember it that good. But I trust y'all if y'all all are saying it's actually really good. Mike in the chat said that he likes both 47 Meters Down, so he can't say which one is better. But the first one with Mandy Moore and the second was one where they got lost in a cave. Okay, that's the one I remember. I remember the second one where they got lost in that cave. That's the one I remember. And I actually remember not minding that one. I thought that one was all right. Jay Lane said in the chat, 47 Meters Down is stuck in the cage at the bottom. 47 Meters Down uncaged is the one in the underwater cave system. Yep. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I remember. That's the one I remember better. Is the one where they got stuck in that underwater cave system, and I feel like there were some pretty good like suspenseful moments in that. Mike in the chat said, Paramount original horror has been hit or miss, so the director fits the vibe. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I said. You can make dope low to mid budget horror films. We've seen it plenty of times. But it's all about, who's writing these things and can they put something together that's worthwhile. King Nicky TV in the chat said, if Roberts gets a good story, it might end up good. Yeah, that's going to be the key. And a part of me feels like the fact that they're keeping the plot under wraps, that does make me wonder if it's actually a worthwhile story. King Nicky TV in the chat said, I love a low budget horror. I feel like they usually work harder to give us something interesting, like that movie Splinter. Which one was Splinter? I can't remember that one. Let me look that one up. Splinter. I'm not good. Y'all, I'm not good at remembering movies like that. While I'm looking that up, Jay Lane in the chat says, my prediction, because Troy Kutzer is deaf, is that it will be about a gorilla or chimp learning ASL with him, and the ape will go crazy and kill people. Man, that's a crazy premise. But I actually like that idea. I feel like, well, I guess if you count Planet of the Apes, I was about to say, have we got like a killer ape movie in a while? And I guess if you count the Planet of the Apes franchise, then, we did get something here. I was trying to pull up that Splinter movie. Is it from 2008? Maybe it's the one that you're talking about. Well, it says trapped in an isolated gas station by a parasite. I don't know if I've seen this one or not. It's not ringing any bells, but yeah, y'all. All that to say, you can definitely make some great low to mid budget horror films. Blumhouse does those like Blumhouse originals. I think is it on AMC that they do those? Cause I think I watched it through Amazon Prime. Might be AMC or something like that. But they do those like really small, low budget horror films that they call like Blumhouse originals or something like that. And there have been some dope ones on there. There was one where this girl, I can't remember what it was called, but she had lost her glasses. Like her glasses broke or something like that. And she had to use like the FaceTime call, and the girl at the gas station was like helping her know where to go. That concept was super dope, and I actually really liked that project. Nikki in the chat said, yep, that's the one. You should watch it. So I got to watch. So Nikki said I got to watch Splinter and Pandorum. So I was on Nikki's Killer Con panel on Friday, and one of the movies that came up was Pandorum. And I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen that one. So she said I got to watch Splinter and Pandorum. I'll make sure to put that on the list to watch those two movies. All right, y'all. Hey, thanks y'all for all the chats coming in. That definitely makes it fun and dope to interact with y'all in the chat. So thanks for contributing. If you're listening on the audio side or you're watching the replay, make sure you tune in live on Sundays at 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, so you can interact in the chat as well. So let's go ahead and jump on to the next story, y'all. This is about the Soft and Quiet's filmmakers' next project. So let's go ahead and jump into that. So this is coming from IndieWire on this story, and the title of the article reads: Channing Tatum and Gemma Chan are starring in Soft and Quiet filmmakers' decade in the making next film. and I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm so sorry. But Beth De Arajo is following up her Gotham-nominated one-take horror film with Josephine, which spins off a real-life childhood incident in her hometown of San Francisco. And like I said, Beth's first film, which debuted at the fest in 2022, before getting released in October of that same year. It used the one-take technique to follow a group of white supremacist women as they meet, mingle, and eventually attack a pair of POC sisters. If you've seen that film is fucking crazy. Nikki in the chat said, "Am I the only person who thinks Channing Tatum can't act?" You know what though? To your point, I won't say he can't act. Maybe it's the roles that he's getting, because I know I've seen him in some decent films. Like, I know I've seen him in something that's where he's done better performances, but he's had some throwaway performances as well. And I would have to look up. I like his comedic performances, like when he did those 21 Jump Street movies with that was with Jonah Hill, I think. When he did those films, like when he does like comedic stuff, I think it's funny. And Mike in the chat said nobody watching him for his acting though. Yeah, I think he is. I know a lot of people do find him attractive because he went and did like the Magic Mike shit and all that. I know people go crazy for those movies, but I will agree with Nikki. And I've never seen, or at least it's not coming to mind any of his good, more drama roles. But I've always liked him when he's doing like the fun comedic stuff. He's he's got the charisma in those movies, and it works. But going back to this new project coming from Beth De Arajo, sorry, I'm tearing that name up, I'm sure. So if you've seen Soft and Quiet, you kind of know how visceral that film is. That film is insane. From a filmmaking standpoint, though, it being like this one-take presentation is super dope in that aspect. Insane story, and that story was based off of things that she experienced, witnessed, and stories she had heard in her life, and she's keeping that same trend with the new film. And so this new film called Josephine is a story of a family dealing with a personal trauma after seeing something unexpected and horrifying in Golden Gate Park. And I guess this is more the actual synopsis. And the synopsis reads: after witnessing a brutal attack in Golden Gate Park, 8-year-old Josephine is plunged into a maelstrom of fear and paranoia. She acts out with increasing violence, looking for any way to regain control of her own safety. Now, the film does not yet have a distributor, but it's likely to pursue some festival berths to drum up interest. And I think the article also mentioned that Gemma Chan had been attached to this project for quite some time as well. But that Soft and Quiet movie was hard to watch. It was a lot, but I will say that from a filmmaking standpoint, it was a good film. So I'm very much interested to see what her next feature film will offer, especially because since she's drawing from her own experiences and people's real life stories and things like that. These films have a very real and visceral nature to them. And it doesn't hold no punches. Like, it's very intense and obviously on purpose to really show shit like this really happens. So I'm very curious to see what this new film will be like. And I don't doubt that it will probably match Soft and Quiet in terms of the visceral nature of the film, since she's tackling, a brutal attack that's occurring in a state park. And I think in the article too, she mentioned one of her own life experiences, and I'm pretty sure it was in here. I'm gonna see if I can try to find it. But she had mentioned that she had her own really terrible experience as a kid, where like her and her father or something like that went to the park, and they had heard like an attack or something going on. It was like it sounded really just crazy to hear about, but that's the type of films that she's making. And she's making these very intense films that have social commentary and messaging behind them. Nikki in the chat said, I skipped Soft and Quiet, and it sounds like I'll be skipping this one too. I just can't with the content. Yeah, the content is a lot. Even for me, like someone who, I can watch pretty much anything. Even watching that, I was like, damn, like this shit is hard to watch. It is a lot. So I don't doubt that this film will match Soft and Quiet in its nature, and it probably won't be for everybody. But I think it is important that films like that be made, so that I think it serves two different purposes too. It can help with people's own personal traumas and things like that, and then also too, it can depict things that are really occurring in real life in society. So depending on how she handles this Golden Gate Park story, it could be very, very interesting. But she's definitely drawing from her own experiences here, and I feel like that's what creating and filmmaking is about too. It's about talking about your own personal stories, or just sharing a story that you want to tell. And sometimes it doesn't have to have the deepest messaging ever, but you could tell she definitely wants and has something to say with her film. So again, that's Josephine, y'all, coming. Well, did it mention when it was coming out? I don't know if it had like any dates or anything like that. I think it was just mentioning that Channing Tatum and Jim Chan were going to star in this one. But again, that's called Josephine. So put that on y'all's list, y'all, if you're interested in seeing Beth de Araujo's next film. That is called Josephine. All right, y'all. So that is the last main news story I want to talk about. So now I want to shift gears, because we always like to talk about, since we do these on Sundays, we always like to talk about the box office and how any of the horror movies that are in the box office performed. And this is a special week right now because Longlegs just dropped this weekend, and that is the talk of the town right now. It's got a lot of conversations right now, especially because it's a mixed bag, right? You got a lot of people who are saying this is one of the greatest horror movies in a long ass time. Of course, there's a lot of people who are saying like, y'all are overhyping it. And if you've seen my review, then you kind of know where I stand right now. But just to give you some perspective on where things are, Rotten Tomatoes wise, Longlegs is sitting at 87% critic with 165 reviews and 66% audience score with 500 plus verified ratings. Nikki in the chat said that she can't wait to see Longlegs. Definitely check it out. Try to go in as blind as possible. I know it gets harder and harder as the days go on with spoilers and stuff, but try to avoid as much spoiler stuff as you can. But I want to talk about the box office for Longlegs because it did numbers, y'all. Longlegs delivers the biggest opening ever for Tom Quinn's Oscar-winning indie outfit Neon, among other milestones. So, going to the article, and I'm pulling this from the Hollywood Reporter, who thankfully just dropped their box office update, like right before we went live with the news show. But it reads, Longlegs can rightly take a bow after scoring the biggest opening for an independent horror pick in a decade with $22.6 million in ticket sales, y'all. Damn, that shit did numbers. And I'm going to scroll down in the article because it kind of dives into some more details about, or just more like records and things with this film. So some more interesting facts with this movie. Let's see. It's playing in 2,510 cinemas, so it's not like a super wide release. I know for sure it's definitely not in every theater, because I have heard that for some people it's not playing in their direct area. But something interesting is it's actually Nicolas Cage's biggest opening since National Treasure: Book of Secrets, almost 20 years ago in 2007. That's crazy, and it's also the top rated. Let me start over. It's also the top R-rated opening of 2024 to date. And it is the only indie horror film of the past decade to open to $20 million or more. And this article says that it does exclude the Insidious movies from Focus Features and Universal. Mike in the chat says, it wasn't for me, but I'm so happy it's crushing records and having such success. We love indie success stories. I agree 100%. this it encourages other studios and creators to go out and make these indie projects when they can see other indie filmmakers get big W's like this. The article continues, going back as far as 25 years. Neon also notes that very few indie films have crossed the $20 million threshold in their debut. For purposes of context, however, many indie titles, including Neon releases, only open a few theaters versus rolling out nationwide from the get-go, as Longlegs did. And it also mentions the well-reviewed movie, speaking on Longlegs, earned $10 million on Friday alone, including previews, and it was not hampered by a C+ cinema score, since it's common for the horror genre to land a grade in the C range. And it said, fun fact, that more than 70% of ticket buyers were between the ages of 18 and 34. And Nikki in the chat says, am I the only person who's never gone to Rotten Tomatoes? I'm always on IMDb. I feel like they serve different purposes. I feel like Rotten Tomatoes offers like a really good snapshot of where the average of the majority is sitting. Jay Lane in the chat says, I didn't love it as much as I'd hoped, but I still really liked it. I'm going to see it again for sure. And regardless, this is a huge success for their marketing campaign. I agree completely. Now, if you see my review, then you know that I was kind of in that same boat as Jay Lane. I actually think it is a really good movie. I really do, but I didn't love it as much as I hoped I did, and I kind of feel like a part of that is due to the fact of the way the film was marketed, and I feel like that kind of hurts the film a little bit for people like myself who we try not to buy into the marketing, but it's gonna be hard not to when everybody is saying it. And I know I'm not gonna do no spoilers. Yeah, Nikki in the chat said no spoilers. I promise you, I will not do no spoilers because I know you haven't seen it. And just in case somebody's watching us on the replay, I won't do spoilers either. But I feel like the marketing hurts a film like this when they do a lot of that verbiage of like, oh, this is the scariest movie of the last decade. They're doing like advertisements saying how scary certain things look. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like that kind of hurts a movie when you have a lot of taglines and marketing that really are pushing it as this sort of like, I'm not saying it's saying the greatest movie of all times, but that's kind of how the vibe is going, right? Like, this is one of the greatest horror movies ever. When you start, saying things like that, and then a lot of the social reactions early on were also corroborating it as well. You can't help but be like, dang, like this movie must be amazing. And you go into it with a little bit higher expectations than normal. And then, you may not like it as much as you hope. So I am in that camp that I didn't like love it like I wanted to. I did really like it. But it definitely, I think, was a little bit overhyped in my opinion. It was a little bit overhyped. Mike in the chat said, I think they do that for movie fans and not horror fans, because the average moviegoer probably would find it terrifying, and horror fans are like, yeah, okay. I mean, that's a good point too. You're right. There's a lot of casual moviegoers who don't typically watch horror who think even the slightest horror is extremely scary. So I could definitely see that. Nikki in the chat said, hype can definitely kill a film because expectations are so high. Yeah, I agree. And I do feel like that honestly affected how I felt about this film, because I was going in with such high expectations, because so many people were hyping this movie up to like ungodly levels. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking, man, I heard, and Christy had sent me some articles too of some movie reviewers as well, who were saying just like they were like praising this movie like it was, like this shit was like the 2001: A Space Odyssey of horror. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were going crazy with it. And so naturally, I'm just like, dang, like this movie must be amazing. Now, like I said, that's not to say it's not a good movie. I do think it's a good movie. I think right now, and if you're watching my review, I'm sitting at between a 3.5 to 4 out of 5. I'm somewhere in that camp right now. If I did the 3/4 score, if I could do like a 3.75, I think that's probably where I would rest at. But yeah, like I said, it's not to say it's not. I'm not saying it's not good. It just ain't no masterpiece. It ain't like extremely great. It's a good film though, and I think most people will like this movie. to at least to some degrees, will find elements that they like about it. But hey, shout out to Neon for such a big W, like to to have like such a big horror success story and make daggone 22.6 million. That is super dope. I'm glad people went and showed up for this. I do think that marketing and word of mouth went crazy for this movie. You gotta whoever their marketing team is, I don't know if it's a marketing team within Neon, but shout out to them because they fucking killed it with this shit. Yep, and Christy in the chat said a win is a win. It is. A win is a win. No matter if you liked it or disliked it, it's still a win. And I think even if we don't like a horror movie and it does really good, I think we still win overall in the end. Because studios will look at this, right? So now you have all these other studios outside of Neon looking like, oh shit. Okay, so they made this real, visceral, creepy ass movie, and it did really good. Okay, so we could go down the same boat. And now we might get more films that are, in the same area or caliber as Longlegs. You know what I'm saying? So even if you didn't like it as much as you hoped, like myself, but it's, you didn't love it, but you liked it. You thought it was good. Even then, it's still going to help the horror genre overall because people will see this and be like, okay, we can do movies like this. And people will show up for it. Mike in the chat said, yes, any success for horror opens the door for all horror. Yeah, that's true. It opens the door for everything, man. And I would love to get more movies like this because Longlegs, as much as I'm saying it's overhyped, it's still good. And it's a lot better than some of the shit that we've gotten this year. And I'll say it all the time. Shit like Night Swim, Stranger Chapter 1, Imaginary, all that shit that we got this year. That almost felt like studio throwaways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is refreshing to get something like a Longlegs where there was so much like care and passion that you could feel that was put into the film. It's just a good looking movie too overall. But it's a big W for horror lovers, for horror as a genre, horror lovers, and horror fans overall, y'all. But yeah, if you haven't seen my Longlegs review, go check that out. And it's spoiler free, so. Even for people like Nikki, you could watch it because it is spoiler free. Nikki in the chat said, can we stop hiring Micah Monroe for everything? I'm taking it that either you're not as big of a Micah Monroe fan or you're just seeing her in too much stuff. I feel like that happens a lot though. Like once a actor or actress starts like hitting, like people start trying to pick them up all the time. Mike in the chat said, Nikki, I like her, but I'm with you right now. Yeah. So y'all saying we're getting a little bit too much of us. Hey, look, she winning, right? She's doing something, I guess, that got these studios wanting to keep hiring her. And to be honest with you, though, y'all saying she's been in a lot of stuff, but shit, I feel like I ain't seen her in a while. I'm just not watching her movies. I gotta go look up like which ones she was in recently. Was she in like a whole lot, just like extremely recently? Cause shit, I'm trying to think of the last thing that I saw that had her in there. I'm looking through her IMDb right now. Shit, I ain't seen a lot of these movies. That's probably what it is. Okay, yeah. So Chrissy said I haven't seen her recent stuff, so it's probably some stuff that just ain't for me then. But yeah, look, as a performer, if you start doing good work, people are gonna start hiring you. Nikki in chat said I missed the movies. Yeah, I probably did. Yep, I probably did because I was like, dang, like y'all saying she's in everything. I ain't seen her at all, really. And in fact, even then, the last thing I can really remember really good is going all the way back to It Follows. Yeah, I'm looking at the IMDb right now. Well, it says she was in Independence Day Resurgence. I think I watched that one. I think. But anyway, but yeah, Longlegs. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. You can add to the support of this film. Go watch it in theaters. I think it is a good theater experience. I do think horror movies in general are good theater experiences, and I think this is definitely a good one. But you want to see it on the big screen with good audio. The performances are really good in this film. And I know y'all say y'all are tired of seeing Micah in the movies, but do y'all feel like for the people who have seen Longlegs, do you think she did good in that film? Keep it spoiler free, but I'm just curious. I know y'all said that y'all tired of seeing her, but do you think she's doing good work? Nikki in the chat said, significant other from last year was really good. I'm just sick of seeing her. It's crazy. Like, it reminds me too of like, when they have their moment, they have their era, people just start hiring them like crazy. Look at Bill Skarsgård. He's in a lot of shit right now. I just wonder if y'all are. I'm guessing y'all not tired of him though. Christy in chat said that she likes her performances. Okay, yeah, because I feel like she was good in Longlegs. I think she did a good job. Mike in the chat said, I love all of her acting in her movies except Longlegs. I have thoughts. Oh shit. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So you thought that the performance was a little weaker in Longlegs. Okay. Jay Lane in the chat says, Watcher was one of my favorite horror movies of the last couple years, so I like her. Really? Okay. I don't think I've seen Watcher. Hey, babe, I know you're in the chat. Did you watch Watcher? Did you like that one? Yeah, Nikki said, I'm not sick of Bill. Yeah, I know Christy ain't sick of Bill either. But he's in a lot of stuff too. Like he got a lot of projects coming out this year. Like I'm talking about a crazy amount of projects that he's had this year. And like I said, I think just once someone has like a it factor, they just keep hiring them for a lot of projects. Okay, Christy said we didn't watch Watcher. Okay, so maybe we gotta check that one out with Jay Lane's recommendation. Yep. Yeah, look, Christy in the chat, never sick of Bill. Yeah, nah, yeah. Y'all are hilarious, man. He said, hey, get Mike out of there, but Bill can just keep making his movies. But hey, look, y'all, that's all the topics I wanted to cover today. We had a lot of dope stuff to talk about. I appreciate everybody in the live chat who contributed to the conversation, gave me more stuff to talk about. That's super dope that y'all came and showed up and interacted with us here on the live news show. Much appreciated. Just more things that are coming up. Christy, I don't know if you could put in the chat of like additional things that we got coming, because she's way better with the schedule than I am. Mike in the chat said, I'm not sick of Bill per se, but the whole Skarsgård family needs to take a vacation. Hey, yeah, the Skarsgårds. Hey, look, that family is winning. I can tell you that right now. That is a family that is winning. And everyone's getting their moment to shine for different reasons and different topics. Yep. So Christy in the chat said that we do got the Wrong Turn watch along coming pretty soon. Just judging off of timing, y'all, that watch along will probably come towards the end of July. And then Christy also wanted me to mention that we're headed to Midsummer Scream at the end of the month. We are. So we will be at Midsummer Scream. If you're watching this right now and you're going to be there, let us know. We will be there. We'd love to meet other community members out there. We will be trying to, do some coverage, do some videos. Of course, see if we can get some interviews, things like that. Nikki in the chat says she plans on marrying into the Skarsgård family. And look, they winning, so that would not be a bad option. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Mike in the chat said that Nikki's manifesting her goals. Oh, he's manifesting the goals for Nikki. But yeah, shoot, Skarsgårds are winning across the board. But yeah, so again, we got the wrong turn watch along that'll be coming up probably towards the end of July. So make sure you're tuned in and subscribe for that. Then Midsummer Scream at the end of the month as well. So be subscribed for that, because we have a lot of things to talk about that come out of there. There'll be a lot of dope updates to come from Midsummer Scream. And then of course, yes, Mike is joining us for the news next week. That'll be super dope. Hopefully there'll be some dope stuff that drops this week news wise. So we have a lot of interesting things to talk about for next week as well. But that'll be really fun. So make sure y'all are subscribed and tuned in for that. But with that, y'all, that will conclude today's live horror news discussion. Again, thank y'all so much for tuning in and joining us. Whether you're watching it live, thank you. And whether you're watching the replay, thank you so much for tuning in to the entire news discussion. And again, make sure you like it. You can comment. And again, you can comment on Spotify now. Spotify has comments. You can put comments there. We'll be watching comments on Spotify too. You can leave us a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And then, of course, stay subscribed so you can stay tuned in to all the things we do here and continue to talk about all things horror I'm out, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.